The Curse of Black Hollow. When Ethan received the letter, he thought it was a cruel joke. There was no return address, just a yellowed scrap of paper, the handwriting messy and frantic. "You promised to come back. She's waiting. We all are." He hadn't thought about Black Hollow in years. The remote town in rural Pennsylvania where he spent part of his childhood. It had vanished from maps sometime in the early 2000s. Officially, they blamed chemical leaks or poisoned groundwater. Others whispered about the woods, but the locals just disappeared.
No survivors. No bodies.
Ethan had sworn never to return, but the letter gnawed at him, especially the last word, waiting. That night, he packed his bag. He didn't tell anyone where he was going. The forest road was overgrown and wrong. Everything was quiet, unnaturally so.
No birds.
No wind. Even the trees looked like they were holding their breath. He followed the old path, one that hadn't existed for 20 years, but somehow it was still there, waiting. The earth didn't cling to his boots. The roots seemed to move aside. He passed the elementary school. Its broken windows looked like empty eye sockets. Inside, something shifted. Something moved. He didn't stop. At the town's edge, by the edge of the marsh, his grandmother's house still stood. The same rotting porch, the same crooked windows. The door was slightly open. Inside, everything was as he remembered. The threadbare rug, the religious icons, the ticking of a clock long since dead, and something else, the smell. Not old, not musty, fresh meat. Floorboards creaked above him. Slowly, deliberately, he looked up. On the upstairs railing stood a child's doll. It was eyeless, just black sockets. Its head turned slowly toward him. Even though there was no wind, no draft, he backed away, found himself in front of the old trapdoor to the cellar. His heart pounded. Something was waiting, something old. He opened it. The stairs groaned. The beam of his flashlight showed shelves covered in dust, ancient jars, and claw marks. Deep ones, some still wet. On one of the beams, scratched in uneven lines, were the words, "She doesn't forget. She doesn't forgive." And above him, footsteps, bare, slow, moving across the floor. He fled, out into the cold, thick night, toward the center of the town, toward the old water tower. The tower had always been a bad place. Soldiers had disappeared here in the 90s. Locals avoided it. It loomed like a broken spine above the trees. As he approached, the forest floor began to rot. Leaves peeled like skin. Mushrooms pulsed and bubbled underfoot. The air became syrupy. Inside the tower, on the highest floor, sat an old chair and a mirror. Ethan looked into it, saw himself, and behind himself her, pale, face blackened like ash, hollow eyes, long hands, a hunger that wasn't human. He turned. Nothing. Looked again. She was still there. Closer. He ran, crashed down the stairs, into the woods. But now the trees had changed. They whispered in a voice older than language. Flickering lights danced between the trunks, like candles on shallow graves. They led him to the lake. Its surface was black and smooth, like oil. On the opposite bank stood figures, unmoving, watching. Their faces were smeared, like melted wax. Then one stepped into the water, then another, and another. They were walking along the lakebed, toward him. He fled again, branches tearing his skin. He fell. The earth below him opened like a mouth. It welcomed him. He awoke in his grandmother's house. Beside him sat the eyeless doll. Now it had eyes, his eyes. On the wall, in crooked letters, was scrawled, "You left. We stayed." Everyone he had known here, neighbors, childhood friends, they never left. They had always been here. And now so was he. He tried to escape, but every path curved back into itself. The forest was a loop. The sky was a sheet of dead glass. Time itself was sick. He found his grandmother's diary point. One of the last entries read, "She's not dead. She is this place. She feeds on guilt, on memory. If you don't leave, you become hurt. I didn't escape in time." The remaining pages were soaked, not in ink, in something red. And then the voices began. Familiar voices. His mother's, his father's, Ben's, his best friend, who had died in 1994. They whispered from the corners of the room, called to him from beneath the floor. "Come to us. We're one now. She takes care of us. It doesn't hurt, just cold, so cold." He wandered to the edge of the marsh. There, the water churned and hissed. Something rose from it. Her, the woman from the mirror. But now with his face. And suddenly he remembered the thing he had buried. The reason he never came back. It was 1996. He and Ben had climbed the tower. It was a dare. Inside, they saw her. An old woman, impossibly tall and impossibly pale, with a black face. She reached out. Ethan ran. Ben didn't. He had abandoned his friend and never told anyone. "She only takes those who forget," a voice whispered. "Those who betray. Those who owe." A month later, a package arrived at the Harrisburg Herald office. No return address. Inside was a VHS tape labeled Black Hollow 2025. On the tape, a man standing in swamp water, still, smiling, eyes empty. He whispered, "Now I remember. Now I'm with her." The tape ended with a face. A woman's face, black and grinning. Closer, closer.